Y'all, it's your boy 3 Stacks. I'm hyped and I don't even have the Yugioh. Yugioh hype is real. But anyways, I'm going over an updated version of my Spellbook of Prophecy deck. Now, you guys saw my original build. I've done a lot of changes. In fact, a lot. This deck is so different from the first time you saw it. It's not even like, literally, it's not the same deck. I still don't have Spellbook of Yugioh because it's not legal, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it's not legal. If it is released, please let me know because I'll go pick him up in a couple days. But anyways, I'm running Spellbooks with no Yugiohs. I do think Yugioh has great synergy in pretty much any spellcaster deck because you could just play 3 secrets, 3 Yugiohs, and have searchable draw power. But this deck doesn't have Yugiohs, and honestly, it never needed Yugiohs, but it is going to increase the ceiling so much because the deck already just digs. But anyways, I've incorporated a huge engine of spells in addition to what I already have to let me plus. Because I told you guys in my other video, spellbooks search a lot, but they never plus. You can dig through your deck and search 10 times and still end with the same 5 cards. Well, not the same 5 cards, but still end with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you started with. And I like plussing. I believe that plussing not only helps you out in your game state to progress further, but it also allows you to match your opponent card for card and still have that extra backup play for yourself that your opponent never had if he doesn't have a plus. So plussing is extremely important, and it's one of the most relevant statistics in your game state. It's one of the things that help people to win, and it does increase your ceiling. It does, absolutely. For example, if you open with 5 back rows and your opponent opens with, 5 back rows and an extra card like just a monster to summon, he has that one advantage over you because you guys can match each other card for card, and he'll still have that one. For example, that was a horrible example, but what I'm saying is starting with more cards than your opponent does, it really does help, especially because people are playing hand traps. So everybody naturally starts with 4 or 5 cards, and I believe that if you start with 6, in addition to having, your setup field, having a field for free, every spell that you've played is free, every monster you have out, and all your set back rows are free, and still having those 6 cards in hand is pretty broken. But anyways, I've rambled enough. This is Spellbook of Demise. I still don't have the Dark Magician, and I don't know if I want to do the Dark Magician anymore because Spellbooks in their purest form are just so broken, and I love what they do. It's not like Spellbook invoked True Draco. I'm not even going to do that deck. I don't think I ever want to because it's just like, it's an OCG thing. Now, OCG is much more, I believe that OCG has a higher mental capacity than we TCG players, and I am talking down on myself also. They're a lot smarter than us. They're a lot smarter than me. I would never say that I'm better than the OCG. And most of us here in the TCG, we actually net deck them and steal their ideas and take credit for their work. When even, for example, Kamal Crooks claimed to make up this Manifold Cosmo Manifold Cosmo Draco deck, and that's not true. That deck was already a relevant contender in the OCG format. So I just feel like, I don't really want to do stuff like that. And that's why people have asked me, if you've seen on my videos, a lot of people have asked me 3 stacks, make a Wind Witch True Draco. I think it was like an invoked Wind Witch. Make an invoked Spellbook True Draco Demise deck or something like that. No, it's Spellbook True Draco invoked or Wind Witch, one of the 3. No, it is invoked. Yes, it is. It's invoked Spellbook True Draco. Sorry that I'm butchering the name, but that deck is already out in the OCG. It's crazy. I'm not saying that's a bad deck, but I am saying that OCG deserves to, have their own. Think of it. We have Cosmos. OCG doesn't have that. Spirals. We have Spirals. OCG doesn't have Spirals. I know they have Monster Reborn, and I know they have like banned staples, but they don't have, their own decks like we have. And that's kind of messed up that we steal their decks. I don't respect that. That's why I've never actually net decked a single OCG build. In fact, I've never net decked a build a day in my life, and I don't plan to. But anyways, I rambled so long. Let's hop right into my deck profile. So this is max rarity 4 in Spellbooks. So everything that's available in max rarity, I have it maxed out, and it's also foreign. So the languages in my deck are German, Italian, French, and Spanish. And the blue boys are Germans. Ultimate rare Germans. Blue boy is the most important because he also is a spell. It's weird, but there's a ruling. Like if you played Spellbooks back in the day when Dragon Rulers and Mermails was like the most broken decks, it's just like, it's hard to explain, but this guy's a monster and he's a spell at the same time. Blue boy is just the most broken one. I also played 3 copies of Fairy Tale Luna. Now, the consistency in this deck is really, really broken. I love how you basically can open up the same way, pretty much guaranteed. If you just have a secrets, you've got everything you need. Because you're going to have an extra spell book. You can secrets, master, search your towers, fate, bam, you got it. But the thing with Luna that helps this deck, and it really does boost the playstyle of it, is you need a spellcaster on the field to activate a lot of the spell books. And if you don't have a spellcaster on the field, you can't Fate, you know, you can't Wisdom, you can't even activate Master. Spellbook of Master requires for you to control a spellcaster and have a spellbook in hand to resolve, to reveal. So, you know, it has some requirements. It's kind of a cost, but it's easy to fulfill. So Luna is a spellcaster that searches out another copy of herself, and her field presence is very, very relevant because she's like a Mage Spectre Kieran. So she lets you play on your opponent's turn. In addition to disrupting your opponent's plays, she guarantees that next turn you'll have a spellcaster to control. Because again, like I said, you need to control spellcasters a lot of the time. Blue Boy's 500. The best that you can do to maximizing your Blue Boy is after you're done doing all your searching, activate your own Fate targeting your Blue Boy and put him face down. So that way, if your opponent gets rid of Blue Boy, you'll at least search a Secrets, and Secrets can search Blue Boy, if I'm not mistaken. And that's how the ruling was back in the day. Unless they changed it, you can search Secrets off of Blue Boy, and Blue Boy can search Secrets, vice versa. But anyways, 3 Fairy Tail Luna. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but 3 Fairy Tail Luna, really, really broken. I love her. She's a spicy tech. I believe every Spellbook player should start playing this. And no, I did not copy it from anywhere. I actually, like, just read her and said, you know what, this would be great in Spellbooks. So we're playing also 2 copies of Justice. She is broken in Demise because even though we only play three card of Demise, which means you're not going to Demise every single turn, and every single game you're not going to have Demise. You might not ever draw into one. But she is really broken with Demise because you're able to resolve your Demise. You know, you resolve her as Chain Link 1 and Demise as Chain Link 2, meaning Demise will go off first because they both activate in end phase. Well, the resolution's in end phase. Resolution, not activate. The resolution's in end phase, similar to Cosmo Tin Can. So Demise will discard any cards you have, if you have any. The smartest way, obviously, is to just set everything. And if you draw into a monster, just discard it. And then Justice will add your Priestess, which I play 2 of. I'll talk about Priestess in a minute because I know this is Demise. We're getting there. So you'll add your Priestess, and you'll also add any spellbook you want, which naturally I always add Spellbook of Life because for some reason it's really, really broken to me in this build, especially being a Demise build. So, you know, for example, if you accidentally drew one of your 2 Priestess and it gets discarded from your hand during the end phase off of Demise, then, you know, you could bring it back off of Life. So anyways, 2 Priestess. Now, most people say, this is Demise, you can't special summon. Okay, here's my thing. You have the choice whether or not you activate Demise. It's not like when you draw it, you have to play it. Most people get that twisted. A lot of players activate Demise right away, preemptively. This deck searches like a beast. It doesn't draw like a beast. When we get Spellbook of Rudra, we're going to be drawing like a beast. But this deck searches like a beast. It really does. So you're able to search out everything relevant. The only cards that I care about, honestly, for my first turn setup is to have a Spellbook of Tower up and activated, have a Fate in my back row, and a Spellbook of Wisdom in my back row. Everything else is just to get to those 3 cards. The Secrets, the Masters, the Eternities, all 3 of those Spellbooks just help me to maintain consistently getting my Fate, my Wisdom, and my Towers. Those are my first turn setup. I want those 3 spells on my field. 2 of them set face down, you know, the Fate and the Wisdom face down, and my Tower face up on the field activated so I can get my extra draw 2 every turn and keep recycling everything. So anyways, back to the Demise. So even though we're playing Demise, it doesn't really conflict with Priestess. Again, you don't have to really special summon anything. And I think I started talking like, because I was getting to Desire, so I started talking about how everything in my deck is important, but I can afford to lose it. But we'll get to that anyways. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you guys. We're talking about Demise right now, not Desires, because I play both these spells, and I want to explain to you guys how they work in this deck, because most people would say that's horrible. But anyways, Priestess, if you draw her off of your Demise accidentally, you can search your life, activate it, bring her back. Most of the time, you never ever draw her off of Demise. You search her off of your Justice, or you draw her later on in the duel. And think of it this way. If you draw any monster, it doesn't have to be Priestess. If you've already normal summoned and you activate Demise, for example, you normal summon your Spellbook, your Blue Boy, and then use this effect to search. If you activate your Demise and you draw another monster, it's just as dead as Priestess would be because you can't summon it anyway. And obviously, if you're under Demise, you can't special summon, so it's not like you can put another monster on the field. So drawing Priestess is, you know, drawing Justice, for example, is just as dead as drawing Priestess if you've already normal summoned, because you can't double summon and you've already put yourself under Demise. So it works perfectly because first turn you want to set up, and second turn, obviously, you're going to be killing your opponent with your Priestess. It works perfectly. Trust me, you guys. Honestly, you don't even have to net deck me. I would prefer that you not. So you don't even have to, you know, like, basically give me that, what you call constructive criticism, and say your deck is not working. Like, Priestess doesn't work good with Demise. Yes, she does. I know what I'm doing, and I've tested my deck out enough. I'm not going to make a build and just throw it out there. I'm going to test it first and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, I'm gonna find the cards to make it work. Like, this is how I do it. I want to produce quality content for my channel. I don't ever want to put up a deck that does not function. I would like to give you guys great decks to build and, you know, to go off of. And for the most part, since my channel's been up for, you know, the year that it's been up, just about a year now, every single deck that I put up, people have given me great feedback saying, you know what, dude, this really helped me out. And I love that. This is what I do it for. You know, I don't do this because I love talking. I do this because I love you guys and I want you guys to know these ideas. You know, I want to share this information. And when I figure out broken stuff, like, you know, decks that have never been tried before, I like to share them with the community. I'm not greedy with my knowledge. Moving forward to the spells. 3-card Demise, obviously, and I explained thoroughly how Demise works with Priestess. Everything else is broken. It's really, really clutch. I love Demise so much. It's perfect in this deck, especially because, you know, you'll search out everything you need, set them, and then, you know, you just activate your Demise, draw 3 more cards, and play them if you can. If you don't want to play them, just set them. Just really clutch, because most of the time the only cards that I set are Wisdom and Fate, and then I activate Tower. So I have 3 open slots in my back rows, and what I want to do is activate Demise and draw into cards like Strikes, Warnings, and Mirror Forces. Set those to protect the field that I've just set up. And it's, you know, most of the time the main point of my field is going to be the back row, because the monster is not going to be that strong. So yeah, Demise is really, really powerful in this deck. You don't have to play it, but I choose to. I also play Desires. Now, remember, when I was explaining Demise, I accidentally mistook it for Desires. And I was telling you guys, like I already said, this deck searches everything. And the only cards that I care about in this deck, like I said, are Wisdom, Fate, and Towers. So as long as I can search those first, and naturally I can with Secrets, Master, and Blue Boy, you know, you can just search out everything you need and draw into it as well. Everything else, it doesn't really matter. I could banish 3 of everything and it doesn't hurt. But the Desires has never ever killed me. And the reason why Desires can never kill Spellbooks is because you have too many things that do the same exact thing. You have 3 Secrets, right? You can banish all 3 of your Secrets. You still have 3 Blue Boys. You have 2 Masters, right? You can banish your Masters and it never hurts because Master is just any Spellbook. Your Eternities, this is the only thing that could possibly hurt you because sometimes it helps you in your grind game. If you banish, for example, your 1 Spellbook of Power that I play 1 of, and you need to get it back, but you've banished your Eternities, you can't get it back. But Desires never kills you. It's just too beautiful in this deck. You do not have to play Desires. You don't have to play anything. You don't even have to run this deck. I am showcasing it because I think it's beautiful and I like to share ideas. And this is actually an update on the build that I showed you guys about a week or 2 weeks ago. And it's completely different. We're playing also 3 copies of Duality because it's really, really powerful in this deck. You just want to search out everything you need first before your Desires. And obviously I'm playing 3 Desires and 3 Demise, so my chances of activating Pot of Desires are pretty high. And it does. It's like this deck is really broken, and Pot of Desires does increase your chances of winning because it actually draws more cards like Strike and Warning, you know, and Mirror Forces. And also, like, if you didn't get a chance to search out your Wisdom, like, naturally I'm going to search Fate no matter what. But if you never got to search Wisdom, you can draw into Wisdom off of Desires, and that helps you to set up your board. But 3 Dualities, because it just helps you to get to your draw cards like Demise and Desires. Really, really broken. Continuing with the consistency, because that's all this deck is. If people did not know, all Spellbooks do really is just search and draw. And if Spellbook of Judgment was legal right now, this deck would just be too OP. Justice searches. Luna searches, right? That's 6. Blue Boy searches. 8 of your 10 monsters search. And every single spell in this deck, except for Spellbook of Fate, Wisdom, and Spellbook of Light, all give you cards. Eternity may not search, but it adds from your banished zone to your hand, so it replenishes your hand and your resources as well. Tower lets you draw 2 cards. Master can do anything. It's the most versatile of all spellbooks because it's any spellbook. And also Power lets you search. So you literally have 5 spellbooks that don't do anything. So 5 out of your, I don't even know how many spells don't do anything except they do stop your opponent, which makes them, you know, incredible exceptions. So we also play 3 copies of Secrets, which is German Ultras, just like the Blue Boys. They are not first eds, unfortunately, but it's still max rarity foreign, which I really like. I love my high rarity cards. I'm a rarity hoe. I really am. I wish I didn't sell my French Desires. You guys know when I had my first set of Pot of Desires were actually all French. And I wish I still had my French Desires because funny thing, I have French, Italian, German, and Spanish in this deck. Of course, English. If I had French Desires, I just think it would be really cool. But anyways, 3 Secrets, really broken. No, not the reprints. I'm not broke. Honestly, sometimes I do go broke because of you guys. Because, you know, some of the decks that you guys asked me to showcase I buy them. I mean, I don't know where you think I get these decks from. I don't just find them on the ground like walking to work. I buy them with my hard-earned money, and I don't ever say, "Oh, you owe me. You made me poor. You bankrupted me." No, I don't have to do it, but I do it out of love, and I know that you guys by now know that I love you, and I do everything that I possibly can to give you what you ask for. We also play 2 copies of Master, the most broken spellbook because it's the most versatile. It's anything you need at the moment. Really, like literally, it's anything you need at the moment. You never want to play 3 Masters, and the Masters are Italian. One of my Eternities is foreign, and a foreign one is actually a Italian or Spanish, and one is English. But you never want to play 3 Eternities. You only play 2. I do not think that you can actually activate Eternities to target one of your face down banished off of Desires. I don't think that you can do that. So I'm not sure how that works, but don't try to tell me that, you know, 3 stacks. I thought you said that you can do it. I never said that. You know, I've had a problem in the past with people putting words in my mouth. I don't know if Eternity works with Desires, you know, adding from your banish zone. So I just use it the way it's been used, you know, in spellbooks. When you banish with Fate, you just add your stuff back. And also when you banish with your High Priestess, because she has to banish to destroy from hand or grave, you can just activate Eternity and get it right back, which is really cool. So Eternity just helps you loop your resources. Every spell in this deck is consistent except for the 5 that I told you about. So this deck just draws, searches, draws, loop everything, and everything recycles like crazy. You recycle from grave, from banish zone, and you add from deck to hand. It's just really, really cool. I love how spellbooks operate. I love consistent decks that can make comebacks and just basically maintain everything that they do, you know, without burning out. Like Dinos, I've never been a fan of True King Dinos because they burn out. I love decks with longevity to prolong my game state, especially because I naturally am a grind game duelist. Being a Herald of Perfectionist at heart, you guys know how I love my Heralds. That deck is built for grind games, and so naturally that's my mentality. I never overcommit or overextend unless it's completely relevant and necessary and I'm playing in time, and you know, this is one of the last turns that I have to ever throw everything I got. When you're playing in time, I feel like that's the only exception, and it's only if you're at regionals. You know, if you're at regionals and it's a top 32 cut that's at the risk, you overextend because you have to, because it's like if I don't overextend and I keep my cards, I may lose just trying to be conservative. That's the only time I'm not conservative. That's the only time that I'm reckless. Other than that, I'm a very conservative and smart duelist. I think of myself like a general. Like I pay attention to my opponent's facial expressions, everything that he's doing, and basically based off of that, I can, you know, make him think I have something that I really don't, which is kind of funny. Like sometimes I'll make people think I have mirror forces because I start adding up the attack of the monsters. Like, okay, that's 36, that's 54. And then he'll be like, so you take it? And I'm like, which one do you attack with first? 18? All right, mirror force. Like, it's just stuff like that where, you know, you can win without even, you know, playing your cards right. Like, you can play horribly and still win because, you know, you deceived your opponent. And even though it is deceiving, sometimes I have to do that to win. So there's a lot of ways that, you know, I have a lot of different play styles, but conservative is definitely my main one. Conservative meaning that I just basically, I put out just enough to hold me down. You feel me? You know how dinos just spam everything and burn out all their dinos from their deck and end with 1 card in hand and maybe a True King of All Calamities and a Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, right? With 1 card left in hand. I'm not the kind of dude that's going to leave myself hanging because I feel like I played myself by leaving myself 1 card in hand, because no field is actually literally unbreakable. There's always something. Konami makes cards to counter cards. There's a hard counter to every single card that exists, including counter traps. Wiretap, Magic Jammer is a great, you know, it's a great way to just like shut stuff down. I don't know why I said Magic Jammer, but I meant to say 7 Tools of the Bandits, you know, the counter trap that negates traps. So there's a counter to everything. No board is unbreakable. That's another reason why I side deck raw spear modes, because it breaks any board. I don't care what board it is. But Double Fate, one is foreign and one is English, but they're both ultimate rare first ads. No, one is first ad and one is not. Whoops. But they're both ultis, and one of them is actually Spanish or Italian. And I know the towers are actually French, I believe. And two Spellbook of Wisdom, really broken. Especially playing against back row heavy decks that just play, you know, Paleozoics, make your stuff unaffected by traps, you win the game. You're playing True Dracos, Tribute, True Draco Return, or Apocalypse, target your monster to destroy it with the trap effect. Chain Wisdom, unaffected by traps. 1 power because it boosts your attack, and it also just lets you search. And you know, you can always, even though you play 1 power, you can always activate power and then activate Spellbook of Master, stacking power, and you will actually stack the effects of power and get a double search instead of 1 search, which is really cool because Master and power both are the effect. It's weird, but that's why I really think Master is so broken, because it kind of like breaks the rules. Because you know how secrets can only be activated once per turn. You can play 2 secrets by activating secrets and then playing master. So master basically breaks the rules, which I really like. And it is legal. It totally is legal. That's why I love master. And 1 life. For those situations, you know, like I said, if you actually draw one of the 2 high priestess that you have under a demise, which is literally such a very specific scenario, but if it happens, you can life it back. But life really is just Monster Reborn, period. It's a very, very strange Monster Reborn because you banish a spellcaster and then I think you reveal a spell book. Yeah, you banish a spellcaster, reveal a spell book, do something else, and then summon any spellcaster from your grave. And for the traps, we played 3 strikes, 1 warning, and also 3 mirror forces, just 7 traps. It could have been dimensional barriers, but since we're in a true Draco format, dimensional barriers are more like side deck staples. You definitely should still play in this format, don't get me wrong. Side your D barriers for, XYZ heavy decks, synchro heavy decks, because think of it. D barrier doesn't stop link summoning. Bro, what do you think you're link summoning for? So that you can XYZ more than once. The only exception would be Firewall Dragon Turbo, which Firewall Dragon is going to get banned immediately. But that's why I picked up Artifact Sanctum reprints and Sights, and that's why I'm playing Cosmo Artifacts. That's going to be my anti-Firewall Dragon Turbo deck. Y'all stay tuned for that. But that is the main deck. It's 41 cards, not 40. Yeah. Sue me. Make my balls hurt. Anyway, extra deck. Hierophant of Prophecy. Really clutch. Just for back row heavy decks. He's awesome. And also, like, when you activate his effect and pop all the True Draco spells and traps, and they use their True King's Return to try to pop him, you just chain Wisdom, make him unaffected by that, and then all their traps just go to the grave. And if their spells, target my spells, obviously I'm going to use his effect before I set any back rows, just in case, they have a Heritage or a Disciples. I don't want that to pop my set face downs. So I'm not going to set face downs. I'm going to use his effect first, destroy everything the True Dracos have, make him unaffected by traps so he won't get popped, and then set my fate and set my wisdom, and bam, pass turn. Swing and pass turn. The big eye, he's a spellcaster. And he's foreign. I just like that he's foreign. And ultimate rare Hierophant. I'm trying, you guys, I'm trying. No ghost rare red eyes. I just don't like them that much. And then Draco Sack. Rank 7s. You can only actually make 1 technically in 1 duel. And you have to literally have double priestess. But also spellbooks never really go into their extra deck. But there is something that I'm playing for when I do go into my extra deck to make it worthy. I'm playing double Trident, 1 Broad Bull, 1 Tiger Mortar, and 1 Chaka 9. You hard summon Broad Bull or Chaka 9 and overlay Trident. Let's say, for example, you hard summon Broad Bull and you special the Trident on top, and then, you detach for Trident to pop something, and then you special summon Chaka 9, detach, revive your Trident in the main deck zone, and then summon Tiger Mortar on top of the Chaka 9, detach, reattach, another Trident. If this one lives, summon your last Trident. That's a cool little Zodiac combo with literally no Zodiacs in the main deck. And I showed you guys that in my Herald of Ultimateness Time Lord build. It's a really cool combo. And I recommend any deck that can play rank 4s, just do it. It's link format ready. I showed you guys. I never, had more than 1 the whole time. It's really cool. But anyways, moving forward, Daigusto Emerald, Tornado Dragon, Dweller, Diamond Dire Wolf, and then the rank 2s. Daigusto Phoenix is really just a push for game. You can never actually do this combo unless you have Spellbook of Life, and you literally would have to have 2 blue boys to summon the Phoenix first, and then, life. It's really hard, but in a very, very specific and impossible situation, you could possibly summon both of these. Never have done it, and I probably never will. But they're just cool rank 2s to have, because there are some times when you have multiple blue boys. But the extra deck is really irrelevant. It really is. Spellbooks have never needed an extra deck. I don't even know why they made extra deck monsters for them. Cards that I would be playing. Wonder Wands. My replacement for these are Spellbook of Rudra. I told you guys in my first video that these were just fillers / proxies for Rudra, but I just don't want to do that. I may in the future play Wonder Wands just because it's another ultimate rare that I can toss in my deck, so I can have a lot of ultimate rares and shiny cards. Really cool, and it will actually help me because even though I can't fate, I have live mirror forces, and I could play drownings, and I have live drownings then. So Wonder Wand is still a great card if you want to play it. I'm just waiting on my Rudras, and I'm debating whether or not I want to play Wonder Wands right now because they're commons, and also it's not that great. Not all the time. It is great sometimes because it's the only way you can plus without Desires and Demise. But now that I'm playing Desires and Demise, I don't really need it. 2 Kaikus and 2 Jalgins. These are generic spellcasters that spellbooks can abuse the crap out of. That you can play. Kaiku's great against Dinos, really great because they can't banish to summon Conductor Tyranno at all, so Conductor can never hit the field and they can never miscellaneous source. Food for thought, can't banish, and then he also can actually banish if he inflicts damage. And Jalgin's more of like a side deck staple if you're playing non-True Dracos. Everything else that's not True Dracos special summons like a boss. And Jalgin, you know, you go second, blow it up, and then they try to recover. So it's really cool. And it's just something that you can tech out if you want, but I'm not playing them right now. But that is my Spellbook of Demise pure variant for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Please leave your honest opinion and feedback in the comment section below. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. And remember that you can now support me directly through PayPal, Patreon, or even GoFundMe. My homeboy Xavier, who is actually a beast, he's part of Team Kia Games. He's very tech savvy. He set all 3 of those up for me because I was talking to him saying, bro, you know, I literally spent like close to $11,000 by now in the year that my channel has been up. In 1 year of buying decks and doing deck profiles, of literally over 200 deck profiles, I've spent almost $11,000. You may not believe me, but it's true. And I keep track of my spending. And all those, you know, all those thousands of dollars, it's really like 10,000 something. I've spent it on you guys. So you guys are spoiled. If you didn't know it, you're spoiled. I care that much. And I know that I don't get paid to make Yu-Gi-Oh channels, Yu-Gi-Oh videos yet on YouTube. Like YouTube does not pay me, so it's a little harder for me. I understand other Yu-Gi-Tubers like Cyber Knight. Cyber Knight's a really cool, nice guy. He gets paid, man, and he gets, you know, he's sponsored by Jacques Raid. So they get free stuff, you know, Team Samurai and other Yu-Gi-Tubers like even Lithium or Alinthio or even, you know, Simo. I'm positive that they probably get paid to do what they're doing. So when they buy, you know, showcase an expensive deck, it never hurt their pockets because it was never their money. But the money I spend is what I work for, and I'm a server at Olive Garden. So, you know, I do what I can, but I do love you guys, and I prove it to you so many times. God bless y'all. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Carthage must be destroyed. Feed your kids. Pay your bills on time. Please be grown-ups. Y'all be safe.